To some breaking news now, though, regarding the voice to Parliament. Sky News has obtained exclusive seat-by-seat polling that spells disaster for the Yes campaign. Political editor Andrew Clennell has the details. Andrew, what does this polling tell us?
Well, Tom, Sky News has obtained seat-by-seat modelling that shows the Yes campaign in the Voice referendum is set to win in just 22 of the 151 House of Representatives seats. But this includes big Yes margins in the inner city Sydney seats held by Prime Minister Anthony Albanese and Environment Minister Tanya Plibersek, perhaps explaining why the Prime Minister keeps showing optimism in the face of what looks a lost cause. The polling, which has been distributed between no campaigners and senior Liberal Party officials during the weekend, comes from a UK firm called Focal Data, who has used a technique which was similar to that used by the Australian newspaper during the 2022 election campaign, and that came very close to the seat-by-seat result at that election. The modelling shows victory for Yes will not occur in any Liberal seats, although Yes will come close in two of those seats. The marginal seat of Sturt in South Australia, held by James Stephens, where 51% are set to vote no, and Bradfield, the marginal seat held by Liberal frontbencher Paul Fletcher, where no leads 53-47. But the poll predicts absolute landslide results for the no case in Queensland seats, including Bob Katter's seat of Kennedy, 84.9% no. David Littleproud's seat of Maranoa, 81.5% no. And then you have other no votes between 70 and 80% in Riverina, Indi, Moncrief, Fisher, Grey, Hume, Longman, Bowman, Cowper, Lyne, Calare, Durack, Herbert, Leichhardt, Fadden, Forrest, Groom, Gippsland, Nichols, Canning, O'Connor, Capricornia, Hinkler, Flynn, Dawson, Wright and Malley. Anne Webster's seat in Victoria is the third highest no at 77%. So these are the seats that are voting yes, the few who are, according to this polling and modelling. Tanya Plibersek's seat of Sydney is leading the way. Yes, 70.4%. Anthony Albanese's Grainless, 64.5%. Melbourne, 64%. That's Adam Bant. Canberra, 62%. And then you have all these seats polling between 40 and 50%. Adelaide, Fenner, Brisbane, McNamara, Reid, Higgins, North Sydney, Clark, Bean, Perth, Kingsford, Smith, Griffith, Greenway, Wills, Cooper, Bennelong, Ryan and Chisholm. You can see in that list mostly Labor seats, all three seats in the Australian Capital Territory, but a couple of Green seats as well and the independent seat of North Sydney. Other independent seats who are on the margin of error, really purportedly voting marginally no, are Kooyong 50.2% no and Wentworth 50.4%. Then there are a range of seats you'd call marginal in terms of voting no, polling 50 to 53. Julian Leese's seat of Berowra, 53% no, and there's Sturt Goldstein, Maribyrnong, Bill Shorten's seat. Linda Burney's seat of Barton, narrowly voting no. Chifley, Parramatta, Newcastle, Hotham, Moreton, Fraser, Boothby and Hindmarsh. Put simply, the closer you are to CBDs, whether it's in Sydney, Brisbane, Hobart, Melbourne or Perth, there seems to be more people voting yes. Elsewhere in the country, it's no. And in Queensland and Western Australia and other rural parts, it's going to be a devastating no result. Essentially, this is a large-scale nationwide poll which went 61 to 39 the way of the no case, and then demographic modelling is used in a technique called MRP, recording lots of data about the people who respond and using that to devise a mathematical model of how various groups of people are likely to vote. And I repeat, this was pretty accurate in 2022 and in the recent UK election, this form of modelling. Well, this seat-by-seat polling comes after today's news poll in The Australian hammered a nail into the yes result. It showed that support for the voice had fallen another 2 points to just 34%, with no up to 58 and 8% saying they didn't know which way they'd go. When that was firmed up, people were told to commit. It was 63 to 37 for the no campaign. The poll also showed support for the yes campaign among younger voters, which had previously been strong, had fallen, Tom.